Welcome back, listeners, to Radio Entrepreneurs. This is the revamped Radio Entrepreneurs for the coronavirus, maybe our permanent format. And glad to say that our listenership is up and viewership, that's even more important, is up dramatically during this economy because people are home. But a lot of the people we know are still working. Businesses are finding new ways to go to market and to do business in this economy, keep their staff employed, keep their culture strong during this time. And with that in mind, a regular guest of ours, John Dustin, president of JED Insurance. Welcome back, John. Nice to see your shaded face.
Jeff, always good to be here and excited to have the interview today.
Well, the best part about this virus is we got your tie off. So we got you.
I did concede on that, Jeff. Yes.
Are you in your office?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm sure you're alone. So, John, what did you want to talk about today?
Well, Jeff, I think we spoke a little bit last week about process and insurance related, but let's talk about enterprise-wide company risk, culture, and just a few odds and ends to help maybe people put a framework together to move ahead. And I know you have exposure with this. We talked offline about certain industries are going to get hit harder than others where they can't be nimble. And there's no new normal because they're forced to have retail seating or people in a store. But other industries...
I'll add to that. There were a lot of Americans that had decided to do their manufacturing overseas, and even more specifically in China. That's not working for them right now. There's no product. To bring over to sell. So not just retailers. Everybody thinks about the restaurateurs because they're the largest employers in the country, and that's true. But there are a lot of industries now saying, oh, what can I do?
So I'm not an economist, but I did see that and I only studied this a little to be optimistic with clients calling in. I saw that hopefully we'll go through flattening here in a couple of weeks of the pandemic. And, the recession really is going to be due to both the pandemic and the oil prices dropping. But they're talking about third and fourth quarter. I wouldn't say catch up to where we were, but a revival of the economy in the late third and fourth quarter, which is a positive thing to think about. Keep your fingers crossed. China, interestingly enough, manufacturing's back up around 80 or 90% of where it was. So, it's at least positive that they're somewhat coming back. And that gives us some light of hope here that once we're through all this, we'll be moving forward. I do think for our clients, this black swan that was thrown upon us, the clients are calling in, they need extensions, they can't come up with cash flow for deposits, and we're helping them through that. We're hoping they don't cancel things if they're required to have it. But one of the things I'm encouraging my office to do is have a framework to start when someone calls in. And I'm not saying be overly positive and a cheerleader, but have an optimistic problem-solving approach. And end all the calls, try to reduce anxiety and have some action item that's positive for them. And Jeff, you can probably speak to coaching people to stay positive.
Well, that's changed as well. But, we are social animals. That's just a fact of it. And it's important in this economy to stay focused on that. And even though people are working much more from a distance, you cannot sort of hide and build walls and try not to do business right now in this economy. Thank you. I hope you like my graphics. My good clients really have, they realize that we're now working in a whole new universe for business, and they're coming up with new business plans that they're getting hungry about. And I think that's important. And when they get them hungry on those plans, they're now connecting them in different ways than they've ever connected them ever before. Connecting them via Zoom. I have one client in particular. We start every day with a Zoom team flash meeting, 15 minutes. What are we all doing? We've restructured our staff in terms of job descriptions. Everybody in the firm have become marketers. And the way we're doing sales the way we're doing marketing is different. Postings are different. Accountability and tracking is different. And the way we're doing sales is different. And actually, with some of these companies, these were some of the companies where they thought, oh, we might be closing our doors. They're actually not closing their doors. They have more leads in their funnel than ever before. So I'm a bigger fan in fighting and going down in a fight. I've always been George Custer. I believe in going out in a fight. I don't believe in putting up a white flag because that's just the end of it. So for me, I am seeing a lot of it. And, you know, the employees that I'm working with in Zoom team meetings and individually, they're appreciating the organizational support more than ever. More than ever, they're feeling like, wow, this company really does care about me. They could let me go right now. Not only are they getting me help, they keeping me employed, but they're keeping me busy, they're keeping me active, and they're getting me help to do my job better than ever before. And these employees, you're winning great loyalty from these people, and they're producing. That's what
So,
I'm seeing.
so from an insurance perspective, we're learning that the remote worker is in vogue, right? Everybody's working from home. It does create cyber exposures for the insured. I mean, you know, they got to make sure they have security so that people aren't breaching, and they got to make sure they have control of what the employees are doing. From the other side of the perspective that you just brought up, we're human and we want to be included, right? So if the company includes you, you do a town hall meeting, they do some active listening, they find some commonality, they don't just talk about the billing issues going on. Maybe they build a stronger culture through this. Maybe they come out ahead. Maybe they, you know, foster relationships. And it's the same with the clients. You know, when the clients are calling in here, our goal is to keep them solvent, keep them alive. Canceling coverage and ending negative notes isn't the best outcome. We have to say to them, okay, you took these policies out for these reasons. Let's review what you have, what you can cancel, what the state requires. But where do you see yourself in 90 or 120 days? Are you going to do the PPP loan and still be vibrant? Maybe we shouldn't jump to negativity.
Well, again, I don't think that's entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship was always risky, and that's what it was based upon, taking a risk and a leap of faith into some degree. I do think that companies have to build a July 15th plan. Very nice of the government to pick July 15th, my birthday, as the tax day. But I do think that that's a good model to go for July 15th. I want to plan out. And I do think you need to look at your cash flows and your people. But if the entrepreneur isn't setting the tone of we're fighting this and we're working and we're leading, don't expect your people to fight and lead and work on this as well. And again, putting your head in the sand, I think, and being an ostrich is almost basically saying, I'm going to be closing my doors. And that's not healthy in this environment. And that does not give the right message to your people, that these are organizations that can be dependent on and leaderships that can be dependent upon.
And that being said, I concur completely. I do think you need to look and make sure your workers' comp company, for example, knows you got people working at home. Your crime and cyber policy is aware of this, and you got procedures set up. You know, if you've got professional liability, you have to control what the representatives are telling people. But I think if everybody is cohesive, positive, and has a framework to move forward, the companies can really move ahead.
Well, I'm talking to clients now more than ever about, sorry, this isn't always 100% aligned, wills, life insurance, life insurance for funding buyouts of partners if someone gets sick. I mean, these insurance policies are more important today than they were a month ago. You wouldn't have thought a month ago that 40 to 50-year-old entrepreneurs would be thinking about having to worry about life insurance. But, this disease does not discriminate. Yes, it has favorites, but it doesn't discriminate. It will hit all. And if a young entrepreneur has invested heavily in their business and they get sick and something happens seriously, what are they doing to not just to their workers, but their partners and their shareholders, if they have any, if they're leaving the firm decimated and their families as well. So I think insurance, are more important than ever.
So, it's interesting. Fail to plan, plan to fail. And I think perpetuation planning in a business is often overlooked. And I think, you could have a key person, a sales representative, a marketing genius, and if they're not insured and they go down, how do you replace them? Is the business going to continue? Who's going to step in? And the same with disability. If somebody gets ill and is disabled for a year, and the business loses income, how do you protect against that? So to your point, the perpetuation planning is a hotbed right now. People are finally saying, hey, this can happen to anyone. And in the past, what do they do? Entrepreneurs might say, oh, I need a summer home, I need this, I need that. But right now, I think there is a focus ultimately on protecting the whole company.
Well, a war is a war, and nobody has ever won a war by hunkering in a hole. And that doesn't win any war. And this is a new type of war. And you need to arm up with the new technology, set a new strategy, and go to war and fight. And if you go down fighting, I'd rather go down fighting than going down hiding in the ground. That's always been my philosophy. I've been through too many fights in my life, but that's my philosophy. It seems like it's yours as well. And a lot of the people I speak with who are experienced and seasoned entrepreneurs. John, if somebody's looking to connect with you and get your advice, how would they do that?
By phone at 508-543-1067. Email john.dustin@jedinsurance.com. On the web, www.jedinsurance.com.
So, John, I'm going to ask you, did you bring the dog to work today?
I did not. Jeff, we were considered essential, and we have a few people in the office here. The dog certainly has gotten a lot of extra TLC the past couple of weeks with us being around more.
Yeah, my dogs, I think dogs are the happiest creatures through this whole virus. They're getting there are a lot of puppies in my neighborhood. This is the time to train a dog.
Well, ironically, a lot of the shelters and stuff that were giving dogs away have shut down because they had too much demand.
Interesting. Well, love those dogs. You and I both do. Well, John, I look forward to speaking with you again. You're a friend. I wish you good health and success, and keep going.
Thank you, Jeff.
And then remind everybody, this is Radio Entrepreneurs. We're going to keep going, and we're going to keep pushing out our messages as well.
Thank you.